You know, they don't say, everybody come watch. No, it's always done in secret. You can have a we the people, and this is the way it used to be done. And then people got lazy about it. Mm-hmm. They got busy making money in businesses, and they said, well, let's just have a district attorney do it. Even the district attorney's job, the prosecutor, used to be from among the people.
Yes, it did.
And all this has been suppressed and hidden from us. You can still get justice for your brother. You do not need that scumbag district attorney of San Joaquin to decide anything. You can indict him as aiding and abetting the murder of your brother. And I can see in the video where a cop fires either his taser, or the weapon, they should be drug tested. It should be mandatory. It should be a state law when a cop fires any kind of weapon or uses his billy club and hits somebody. There it is again. He didn't hesitate. He didn't even ask him to identify himself. He just blew him away.
So they're saying that there's no reports after this. There's no notes. There's no reports. There's, nothing filed.
Well, then
that day.
The chief of police should be fired. You got one witness. You got your brother's wife.
There's actually 2 more in the car.
Yeah.
So you got witnesses. They meet, and bingo, things start to happen. Now the critical point is, who's your sheriff for San Joaquin?
I don't even know who it is now.
I would find out.
Yeah, they just changed it.
I'd make it a point to find out. And and I'd go talk to him. If we bring you a legitimate indictment, will you arrest the DA? Will you arrest all these cops, not just John Mooney, but all of them that assisted? Will you make the arrest? And if he says no, you know what you want to do at the next sheriff's election, don't you? Mm-hmm. Because you know what you can do. If you have an indictment and there's no arrest and no trial, you can wait till the next sheriff and you can form another grand jury. You can come back again and again until you get a sheriff that will arrest them. All the power in this county, in your county, all across this land of 50 nations that we call the United States, it's built on accountability, and it starts at this level, the county level. The sheriff is not the DA. And in some states, the sheriff is not even the coroner. And I wish that was true in California. In other states, the coroner is elected separately for the sheriff, because if the coroner looks at something and says, oh my God, I think the cops killed this guy. You don't want the coroner to also be the sheriff, because the sheriff coroner's... And that's what happened to Andrea Nelson, 20-year-old beautiful daughter, her only child, murdered in Orange County. January of, 10 years ago, I think it was, 2003. William Wagner here down on Morning Star in Orange County, on Morning Star Lane, where Linda Cater's only daughter, Andrea Nelson, was murdered. Isn't that right?
That's what I've alleged, yes.
Upstairs, it's all been rebuilt, but the bedroom was up there where she was murdered, and what I was told by a witness that met me here that saw the snuff film later, many years later after the murder, this witness was shown the snuff film to silence her and tell her what could happen to her if she opened her mouth. And I've been covering that case. And you put in Andrea Nelson and William Wagner on YouTube, and you'll pull up a lot of... I've been covering that case for years. I, William Wagner, for one, suspect the only reason Tony Rakalkas, the district attorney, won't bring charges is because Mike Corona and others have got dirt on the district attorney of Orange County. And if Tony brings charges related to this murder done in this house, then they'll blow the whistle on the other corrupt stuff that Tony Rakalkas is possibly involved in. I'm William Wagner down here on Morning Star in a very exclusive neighborhood. This house has been in shambles since about 6 months or a year after the murder, and is still not rebuilt. From 2004, it's been like demolished partially, and then now they're slowly rebuilding it. But all the drywall, all the concrete, all the flooring, all the furniture, everything that was in that house when Andrea Nelson was likely murdered in there is gone. She could still do it, but you have to have, presence of mind. You have to think it through, what you're doing, how you're going to do it, and you have to do it right. You can't get by with 11 people on your grand jury. It has to be 23 plus 2 more in case somebody gets sick or dies or whatever. 25. And you keep it secret who's on that grand jury until they're done. And they don't have to just cover your brother's case. If there's another case that looks bad in your county, your We the People grand jury can indict them too. Has it helped to be on my show tonight?
Yeah, thank you for that information.
You didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Your lawyer didn't tell you, did he? And the district attorney didn't tell you, did he? And the attorney for the cops didn't tell you. They don't want you to know. This is a common law right. It goes back to the Magna Carta. And we adopted the common law. Amendment 7 of the Constitution. First sentence says under common law. Last sentence under common law. You do this grand jury under common law. And the common law is the law of this state. And every other state except Louisiana. If you're watching this on YouTube in Louisiana, I'm sorry. You're under the French code. I don't know what you do there. But all the other states, we the people can do this. You just have to get 25 people that will take a couple hours out of their life once or twice a week to meet in secret, and you can clean this up. Now, am I talking off the top of my head? No. I actually interviewed a guy up in Yuba County. I forget. It's way up north. He actually called together a We the People grand jury. They actually issued a warrant. And they were marching out. The grand jury then made itself militia. And they were going to go arrest. And the DA got wind of it. Said, no, don't. We'll do it. We'll take care of it. Wow. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And the guy said, well, I want this, this, and this. I've never published this interview, but I have it on tape from 2006. He said, I want this, this, this. He says, okay, you got it. And I thought to myself, why? Why did this district attorney, I forget what county it was, one of those small counties, it wasn't Alpine, but it was like Yuba County or one of those. Why did he cave in so quick? Because he didn't want to remind people that they have the power.
Okay.
You do not have to wait for Tony Rakalkas in Orange County to do his job. You can form your own grand jury. You don't need to go 100 people with protest signs yelling and screaming. You get 25. They meet in secret. They elect a chairman of the grand jury. And you can start to kick some booty.
Okay. I knew about the grand jury, but I didn't, because I was getting ready to already send a letter myself to the grand jury. But I didn't know that we could form our own, because I've researched a lot of things, but I was ready to do this thing, because people are not aware that we can send letters to the grand jury.
You can't send it, or you can form your own grand jury.
See, I didn't know about forming it. I knew about sending them letters,
Was
but they
it worth-
also don't have to respond to us.
Yes, they don't have to respond.
That's another thing. If you take it to the grand jury, they don't have to necessarily respond. They can take it upon themselves to do whatever they want with it, but they don't have to respond to us.
Once those 25 people come together, they don't even have to listen to the district attorney. Once they elect their foreman, they can sit there and say, well, Mr. Tony Rakokas, I don't care about your agenda. We got our agenda. This is what we want to look into. They can tell the DA, whether it's Tony Rakokas or Steve Cooley in L.A. who just retired, or anybody, they can tell, hey, go away, DA. We got our own agenda. We're going to call in our own witnesses. They can tell them, you can go. They have the power. It's not the district attorney's job. And how do I know that? Because U.S. Supreme Court Justice Anthony Scalia, I think is his name, he said so.
Okay,
And if the Supreme Court Justice says so,
then that's it.
he looked at the Constitution. The U.S. Supreme Court Justice, he's not the Chief Supreme Court Justice, that's John Roberts. But Scalia, Anthony Scalia, is one of the big 9. He said he's read the whole Constitution. Of course, he's a Supreme Court judge. And he says the grand jury is not assigned to the executive branch. So the executive branch doesn't appoint it. It mentions a grand jury in the Constitution, but it doesn't assign it to the executive, does not assign it to the legislative, and it does not assign it to the judiciary.
Good.
Therefore, the grand jury is supposed to be outside the three branches of government. So Tony Rackauckus in Orange County has no business appointing him. The judges have no business appointing him. It's we the people. And this fundamental thing, the lawyers don't want you to know. They don't want you to know this because they have control of the whole system now. And they go in their secret little meetings and they say, well, what do you think we can, I don't know, we'll settle that case for $50,000. Raina's brother's only worth $50,000. We'll give her 50. And then says, no, I think we better go over 100,000. No, we don't. So they settle on 75,000. There, you're done, Raina. Bye. Here's the deal. Take it or leave it. This is nonsense. And they do it in secret chambers, in the judges' chambers. That's illegal. It may be legal, but it's unlawful. It's uncommon lawful. Under the common law, everything had to be done in front of the public for two reasons. One, to assure accountability and no dirty deals under the table deals. And two, to educate the public that's watching and to educate those that might commit crimes. You commit crimes, this is what's going to happen. So you can still indict John Mooney, regardless of what your attorney general. See, you could have 4 or 5 grand juries going all at the same time in the same county. Some might be looking at pollution done by farmers who let drainage, dangerous chemicals run off their fields. One might be looking at police misconduct. Another might be looking at teachers that molest their own students. And that's happened in this state. Women teachers have been sent to jail for having sex with their 12-year-old students.
Human trafficking.
Human trafficking, and that's what CPS is, human trafficking. They kidnap kids. They don't have an affidavit by someone. They don't have, in some cases, they just rubber stamp the judge's signature. They just rubber stamp it. The judge doesn't even know it's been used.
Oh my gosh.
And then they say, oh, in 10 days you'll have a hearing. Then they go to the judge and say, we need to have a hearing.
Oh my gosh.
They're supposed to give you an affidavit with a warrant. The judge is supposed to have probable cause before they grab that child. But they've created this legal code, and we need to throw this legal code out. We need to get back to the common law. You can still get John Mooney, Rena. Dan didn't tell you on his show, did he?
No.
Was it worth sticking around?
Sure. Sure was.
I'm asking you.
No, it was. I didn't know none of that.
But I didn't know all the details of your brother, and I feel sad for his wife. Is she still living in Manteca, or she moved away?
She still lives in Manteca.
It must be very hard for her.
Yeah. Especially because John Moody will pass by her house and he'll smile, or he'll pass by when we protest and he'll laugh at us. And
you form your grand jury. If you can get 25 people, see, there's a reason why this number 23 or 25, there's a reason for it. This is so that 5 buddies, drinking buddies, don't get together and say, oh, let's go have another beer. Oh, let's indict John Moody. I don't like him anyway. He's a white guy. Let's go get him. Okay, our grand jury of 6 people, all sitting around the same bar stools. No, you're supposed to be sober, responsible, though under the common law, it didn't say anything about whether you had ever been convicted of a crime. So apparently you could have been convicted of a crime, and you could still sit on a grand jury. But to keep it squeaky clean, I would recommend you get 25 people, never be convicted, you meet in secret. If you can't find 25, put an ad in the newspaper. Secret grand jury meeting, we need, under common law, we the people, we need people who have time to meet for a few hours a week in secret. You get your recorder. I would recommend electronic tape recorder rather than a court reporter. You know why?
Why?
Because the court reporters also work for the same crooked judges and lawyers.
Exactly.
And do you think they're going to,
No.
Put down what you say?
if they don't get it right, or if they leak to the, hey, there's this person's meeting on a secret grand jury. All of a sudden, your grand jury starts getting arrested for
Minor things.
for coughing in public, for standing on their own sidewalk too long.